Good afternoon, esteemed members of the board. My name is Jenny Carol Garcia, and I am here to speak to you about developing a partnership between our association and your local governments. So, for this presentation, it is Pathways to Possibilities. It is a financial aid access training and delivery proposal. So, the executive summary. Assembly Bill 132, which became effective in the 2022-2023 academic year, mandates that all graduating public high school and charter school seniors in the state of California complete the FAFSA or the CADA. The FAFSA is the federal application for federal student aid, while the CADA is the California Dream Act application. The FAFSA is for students who are eligible citizens or non-citizens as determined by the federal student aid departments, whereas the California Dream Act is to support undocumented students residing in California that are eligible for AB 540, meaning that they receive resident tuition exemption. So what this bill did was it requires that all these high school graduating seniors submit either application or that they be provided an approved opt-out form. And this was done in an effort to expand access to financial aid. Now, to support this effort in Yolo County, the California Association of Student Aid the California Association of Financial Aid Administrators, CASFA, is proposing partnering with local schools to address staffing gaps and provide training and resources that will assist counselors in guiding students and their families throughout the financial aid process. CASFA is a nonprofit organization who embodies fostering educational access and equity. We advocate for students, on behalf of students, on behalf of the financial aid profession, to ensure that all California students have equal opportunities to be able to obtain financial aid and resources that can facilitate their way into college and obtain a college degree. A little bit of background and more information about this proposal. So the Yolo County educates approximately 30,000 K through 12 students. Of those 30,000, approximately 2,500 are high school seniors. These high school seniors are all required to complete their financial aid application, but due to counselor burnout, staffing shortages, and a lot of namely situations, including the very flawed out rollouts of the new FAFSA, quote unquote, the simplified FAFSA, have contributed to lower submission rates and an increased opt out population. So, in order to address these challenges, CASFA offers specialized training and support to counselors and students to improve application completion and restore trust in the financial aid process. Now, what's the problem here? Despite California's law for a universal FAFSA and CADA policy, there's still so much money left on the table for college going students or just students that are going to college. Maybe they're paying out of pocket, students that haven't considered college because they don't know what resources are out there for them. NCAN, the National College Attainment Network, estimates that there is approximately $493 million in federal Pell Grants alone in the state of California that went unclaimed by the class of 2023. These federal Pell Grants, this estimate went unclaimed based on the low submission of FAFSAs and um, along with the federal Pell Grants, there is also countless state aid programs for students who demonstrate financial need, for middle class income students who maybe don't know that they're eligible for aid, that also go unclaimed. In Yolo County, about 65% of high school seniors completes the financial aid a financial aid application, which is very similar to the statewide levels. However, schools that have higher enrollments of underserved student populations have even lower rates of FAFSA or CADA completion. And this reflects a statewide trend of declining submissions following the flawed FAFSA simplification rollouts. Now, the objective of this partnership between the Yolo County Office of Education and the California Association of Student Financial Aid Administrators would be to provide a tactical, comprehensive training to high school counselors and officials to better equip them in aiding graduating students to complete a financial aid application, and so that we can also host collaborative financial aid nights. Encourage students to bring the items that they need for us to be able to help them fill out that application. The application, it is it is short. It doesn't have that many questions, but we understand how tedious that can be. We understand how students may sometimes forget or the family doesn't know how to start the application, and those are things that we can assist with. Our expected outcome is that the California Association of Financial Aid Administrators and the Yolo County Office of Education aim to boost FAFSA and CADA submission rates by training high school staff and hosting financial aid nights. This partnership also seeks to raise awareness among students and families about the value of a college education, how far that college education can take them, what it means for them, and then also present them with all the different types of financial aid options that are available to support them. Now, our project. So, our project is to strengthen the capacity of high school counselors and educators within Yolo County. CASA will provide all the technical training surrounding the FAFSA and the CADA, and then we'll also provide that direct support to high school graduates through facilitating those financial aid nights. A lot of our schools are overpopulated. There is not enough counselors to address that student population. So we understand that counselors and school officials may be overworked. They might be taking on additional projects that have um, necessities. And so, as a volunteer run organization, this is what we are here to do. We're here to help our communities in and outside of the classroom, in and outside of the universities and colleges that we work for, to ensure that all Californians have an equal access to financial aid. Now, our program objectives. We want to be able to, first off, equip those high school counselors and educators with training on the federal and state financial aid applications and programs. Second, we want to go ahead and host those financial aid nights at various high schools, focusing largely on those with those lower submission rates so that we can support students through that submission process prior to the California priority deadline for state financial aid programs. So you want to not only help them submit these applications, but educate them moving forward so that students can take that action on an annual basis and submit their applications. They can become stewards for their families, from their friends, and even provide support themselves to others that may need it. Lastly, our third objective is that CASFA will establish a toolkit to support, to ensure long-term support for financial aid nights or any additional questions or information that may rise up throughout the year. So now we have our work plan. There's four crucial steps. We have our planning, our training launch, our outreach, and then our financial aid nights and assessments. During the planning phase, the CASFA will review the technical specification guides and the federal and state question by question text lines regarding the FAFSA and the CADA annually, creates a slide deck to share with our colleagues, with our college access, with our high school counselors. The training committee, which is an established committee of CASPA, will develop the slide deck and then present it to those high school counselors and educators. Our second phase, which is our training launch during the summer months, which is prior to the October 1st release date. I just want to say October 1st is annual release dates for the FAFSA and CADA. Prior to that October 1st release date, we want to go ahead and have that training with all of our high schools staff and counselors. We will do on-site training so that schools know the resources that we're able to provide for them. And then in addition, we will also do any virtual training for staff if they're unable to attend our in-person trainings. During our outreach phase, we're planning around September, December annually to local high schools, and the local high schools and staff will begin to promote the various financial aid nights to their student population. CASA will provide printed and electronic material for the counselors and educators to help with the promotion of these events. Additionally, printed and electronic checklists will be provided to students to ensure that they come to these financial aid nights well prepared so that they're not scrambling, they don't, so that them and their families can just come in there, sit down with us, finish this application, and get them on their way. Lastly, the financial aid nights and assessment throughout the months of October through from October through February. CASPA and the high schools will host these financial aid nights at those local high schools to promote submission of the FAFSA and CADA. And then we will monitor submission through the California Student Aid Commission's Race to Submit dashboard. We can also use that as a comparison tool from year to year, from county, the different high schools in the county, to ensure that these financial aid nights are successful. So our budget, the budget will be covered by CASPA as a nonprofit organization. CASPA does have resources in order to support their mission, in addition to applying to federal grant funding or state grant funding to support those missions of those funds as well. So we have very few expenses. We have a travel, which will be based on the IRS mileage. Accommodations, if needed, we'll be providing light refreshments during those financial aid nights, and then as well the printer material and supplies for a grand total of roughly $8,000 a year. CASA, being an organization with over 2,000 members, has members all over the state of California. They have trainers all over the state of California. Therefore, it is a lot easier for us to be able to travel to those high schools to provide those trainings. So, in conclusion, although California does have a universal FAFSA and CADA policy that aims to boost application rates, significant equity gaps remain, especially among underdeserving students. A strategic partnership between CASPA and the Yolo County Office of Education seeks to address these gaps by supporting counselors, overcoming systemic challenges, and tracking progress to the Race to Submit dashboard to expand college access and financial aid completion. Thank you so much.